take you back to a simple life wearing clothes that are not so easy to maneuver in. So the first person that's going to represent years and years ago is Brenda Doss. And Brenda is known as Cookie, for those of you who knew her in the school system when she worked as an instructional aide. She is beautiful in this colonial outfit, consisting of a long sleeve white blouse. It's an embroidered blouse, and it's a black skirt with ruffled butterfly trim with a matching cummerbund. And of course she's got a nice little matching purse that doesn't have a name on it, like like Vera Bradley or some name that we're real used to, but it was made to match her outfit. She is wearing a black sable fur hat. She's a native of Marlinton, a member of the Red Hat Society. She's retired and still lives at the family home in Brownsburg. Her family includes 3 children and 6 grandchildren, and she's fortunate enough to have 3 great-grandchildren to love and spoil. Thanks, Brenda. Our next person, Lorona Cords, has made a beautiful dress which she created for the early 1800s. The dress is fashioned with an overall beige and burgundy floral print over a hooped petticoat, 3/4 length sleeves with a flared cuff at the hem, and it's practical both for warmth and it's also stylish. She has a matching shawl in burgundy cotton, which adds to the beautiful dress. This ensemble could be used for various occasions or even for around home, if she did away with the hoop. The finishing touches are Lorona's 100-year-old locket and the cap, popular fashion of the day because it was both practical and it's also very pretty. Now she is accompanied by her good buddy, Dale. Good friend. He just got down from the mountains. He's been trying to do a little hunting on the mountains back of his home. He's got a trusty, do you have your muzzle loader? Both muzzle loaders with him. Dale and Lorona live over on Route 92, good neighbors to us here in the Minnehaha, Huntersville area. Thanks to both of you. This next lady, Lois Young, is wearing a colonial blue and white outfit, typical of the 1840s, as hoops began their dominance and would be fashionable for several decades. The bodice and jacket sleeves tended to be huge, so much as 3 feet wide at the hem and definitely not to be used for housework. That's one way to get out of it. Underneath the jacket, well, she doesn't have her jacket on. She told me that the one thing about it, you had to stand up straight because breathing was difficult in this outfit. She has a matching, beautiful little ditty bag, as she calls it. And she has a big fashionable hat. So the outfit was made by Bobby Ryder, and the white hat was accented with seed pearls. And Lois and her husband Dave live on Sunset Road in the Hill Country. She's a native of West Virginia. She told me she was a West Virginia mountaineer at heart. And she's famous for her Pocahontas County quilting. Thanks, Lois. Our next models are Laura Brannon and her daughter Elle. They are dressed in productive, pioneer clothing. They are dressed for going to church. Laura is wearing an off-white muslin dress with a ruffle at the hem, an empire waist, and a lace collar. And her shawl is pinned with an antique starburst pin. She has a parasol. And Ella is charming in her little red and white gingham dress and lace-up leather boots. Show them your boots there, Ella. She's carrying one of Laura's homemade beeswax needles. The Brennans live near Dunmore. They like canoeing, hiking, and all types of outdoors adventures. And Ella is becoming an accomplished horseback rider. Thank you, ladies. Our next model is Kim Hagler and her daughter Isis. As the colonialists began to settle into their communities, social life began to require ladies to become more sophisticated with their clothing. Kim is an artist who likes to paint and bake, and she's wearing a reproduction dress of the period, a fetching blue accented by beautiful white fabric roses. Probably very few ladies here in Pocahontas County would have dressed this way, but many would have liked to. She also has what's called hip enhancers, which broaden the hip line. Kim and her husband John live on Beaver Creek, and Isis is our pride and joy. She helped us with the Huntersville play for the celebration for West Virginia's birthday, and she's a beautiful, beautiful little girl. She is lovely in her fluted little white dress and boots. She has on boots. Isis, can you show them your boots? At home. At home, Cherry City. She likes to twirl in every dress she puts on, and she likes to help her mom cook. Thank you, ladies. Next is Mary Sappel. She's well known in the county for her great cheeks and honey that she and her husband Steve make on their farm near Minnehaha Springs. Mary is wearing a cotton summer Victorian frock over a hoop skirt. She wouldn't be doing any cheese making in that. First, it's too pretty. This dress belonged to Mary Lou Dillon, who wore it for many occasions over the years, and the hat is accented by a straw band trimmed in wide ribbon. Thanks, Mary. She didn't realize sitting was difficult. Next we have Cindy Sabota, and she's wearing a beautiful dress during the Civil War era. It's a bright blue taffeta over a hoop skirt, and it has a lovely bonnet of matching material, and she has on vintage shoes, which she will let you see those. It's black gloves, and she is originally from Greenbrier County. She has 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and is active in the Marlington Women's Club. She's a proud member of the Assembly of God in Edray. Thanks, Cindy. This next lady just got out of bed. She is wearing, because it's very so sharp, she's wearing a night gown, which was made and owned by her grandmother. Beautiful. Her grandmother was Emma McLaughlin McComb of Huntersville, and the mother of Mary Jo's mother, Jessie McComb Pearson. And her mother was the first president of the WSCS, and their first fundraiser for the church was the sale of straw hot food plates that they sold for 25 cents each. They lived up on the hill behind the church, and this family also occupied a house over across the road where the for sale sign is, and right beside that house used to be the store. And if you behaved yourself at Huntersville School, occasionally you could make a trip to the store and spend 25 cents. That was the token given to you for good behavior and good grades. These next two lovely ladies are students at Hillsborough Elementary School, and Miss Hardesty is their teacher. They wanted me to know that. We have Lexi Price. Lexi, will you raise your hand? Okay, and we also have Emily Henderson. Okay, girls, thanks for stopping in. And they were studying Clara Barton in their social studies, and they did a project for the social studies fair last year. So they saw some Clara Barton costumes. Yeah, girls, come over here. So we can see how pretty you are. Face the crowd. Yeah. So they saw these costumes online, and they asked a lady in Virginia to make the costumes for them. Clara Barton started the American Red Cross after witnessing the horrors of the Civil War. Lexi and Emily are wearing the very first design of a uniform for the American Red Cross. They received a perfect score of 100% at their county competition. And can't you see why? Two beautiful little girls. So it was at the beginning of the Civil War that Washington College of Lexington, Virginia sent a company of volunteers to serve others in the Stonewall Brigade. And tonight we have Jeff White from Roanoke, Virginia to represent the Liberty Hall volunteers. Now, on a historical note, before Washington College was called that, it was named Liberty Hall. After the Civil War, Robert E. Lee became president of the college, and it was renamed after his death to Washington and Lee. Mr. White is a Washington and Lee alumnus, and we're pleased to have him share this evening with us here in Huntersville. I don't want to say horsewoman, but she's just a horse lady, and she's tonight wearing a riding outfit that you would have seen in the early 20th century. She has a brown suede skirt, matching brown boots. She has a cotton blouse with a light brown tweed riding jacket, and finished off with a brown felt rimmed hat. These days, Susan usually hacks out in riding breeches and a polo shirt. She doesn't look like this, but doesn't she look ready to ride side saddle? Next we have our bride, Dana Miller. She's been taking part in the Mary Air Blue Dilly Style Show for many, many years and has a beautiful collection of vintage clothing. So she is wearing tonight an elaborately made lace wedding gown of the Victorian era. The dress features a flowing lace train and a headpiece. It's just the perfect feminine look of the day, and she certainly has a way to show it off. Beautiful. Thank you. No style show would ever be complete if we did not have someone who could do the Charleston. We have Reba Burns, and she's wearing a 1920s flat. It's the epitome of the roaring 20s fashion. She is wearing a daring purple dress with fantastic accessories, including a red cigarette holder with probably a real cigarette. And she has some long, slim gloves and a red headband, of course with a feather. She has to be noticed, you have to see her. She is also the daughter-in-law of Lucille Barlow Burns, who was from Huntersville. Mrs. Burns is 95 years old and used to live, was raised, and grew up in the house that's down beyond the jail that's now owned and occupied by Ray Shelton. And if you drive by that house sometime, you might want to take note that her playhouse is still standing 95 years later. It's still there on that property. So we're real pleased that Mrs. Burns is able to get out and know people. She still gave us some history and tidbits about her life here in Huntersville and about going to church over at the Presbyterian Church. We now are in the 1900s, and we have fashions that became a little more practical. We have Jane Shaw, who is wearing a two-piece outfit around. It was about the 1930s, and this outfit has much detail. The fabric may originally have been linen. The tan and red colors go together very well. The top closes down the back, at that time probably with small buttons. It has a fitted waist that flares out over the hips. And Bobby Ryder made the outfit. She added a sailor-type collar, ordered in red, and had a loop-for closing. The red belt sets it on perfectly, and the bottom of the skirt is slightly flared with red trim. Her hat is a ladder hat. That's a parasol. Okay, Jane and her husband, Sonny, reside in Edray, and Jane and Sonny have 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Thanks. Our next person, Casey Griffith, daughter of Frida Griffith, and the granddaughter of Frida Jackson, models this romantic midnight blue velvet gown, which features silver rhinestones in the bodice and belt, and has 10 rhinestones sewn into each tapered sleeve. Alice Law, who taught school in Pocahontas County for 43 years, wore this dress in 1934 when she was a bridesmaid in her brother's wedding. Casey is a junior at Pocahontas County High School. She's also very much a history buff. She is one of the winners of the Golden Horseshoe in the 8th grade, which is one of the most prestigious awards an 8th grade student can win. She represented our county in Charleston for that award. Casey brings life to this elegant town. A beautiful girl. Michelle Douglas is wearing a beautiful lace dress. Around the 1940s, this dress was popular, and it was worn for special occasions. It's very feminine, and it's the epitome of a person that's wearing something with very high fashion. Michelle complements the dress with long gloves and a beautiful hat. Michelle is originally from Texas, and Michelle and her husband Charlie live in the hill country on Sunset Road. She's a retired school teacher and a former administrator, and makes a positive impact in Pocahontas County as part of the civic organizations she works with. Representing the 1950s, Ashley Fleming is wearing a black and turquoise sundress with a matching shawl. She's carrying a black clutch and looks ready for a fun day in the sun at the beach or a picnic. Ashley, who is originally from Texas, lives in Mill Point, and she teaches college English at Pocahontas County High School. A wonderful teacher. She's escorted by her best friend. And that was before tonight, maybe. Matt Tate. And Matt is restoring the old McNeil Mills down near Mill Point. So you probably read